Good morning. Happy football day. Let's kick it off. I'm wearing black because I have nothing to celebrate anymore. My fantasy team is 0-4. The Browns are 0-7 in my heart. They've lost 3 more games than they're already even played. I am so disenfranchised as a Browns or football fan. So I'm just here to cheer on everybody else. Just they're out here chugging along. That's why I'm excited that today's theme, what better theme to have before we get into the games today than celebrating Baker. That being said, let me kick it off to my co-host. Will, how you doing today?
2 years ago, you never would have said that. 2 years ago, you were celebrating him leaving. I will be honest. I love the start of your show talking about disenfranchised, and you had to throw in your fantasy team.
Well, because I'm a broken soul. It's not that my team is bad. The team is great. It's
world's best bench.
Yes.
World's best bench.
Yeah, my bench could really be acing. And it's not the same people on the bench. Every time I switch it, A-Chain lays an egg or, just...
You're doing the wrong kind of Tetris over there. You're
right.
Posting the blocks.
Just got to let it ride, man. Just let it ride.
Have confidence in what you... Go with what you know. But
go with what you drafted.
Right.
Unless I get hurt.
Not me. So before we get into this week, I want to review a little bit of last week. First, did you see the Lions and the Seahawks game?
Oh, yeah. It was a shootout.
That was a shootout. That was a tight game. We saw they're saying this.
First perfect game by a quarterback. Yeah. It's like most completions and pass attempts in a game where the quarterback didn't throw an incompletion. Jared Goff, he went 18 for 18.
Really?
First time. Or I guess you could call it a perfect game.
Right.
For a quarterback.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why isn't that spoken of more?
Went under the radar. Really went under the radar. I didn't even realize it. I watched the entire game. Didn't even click until the next morning. All of a sudden I was like, oh my God, he didn't.
What a stat.
Yeah.
That's something that needs to be.
Talk about a clean pocket. I had time to throw.
But again, that, not to be the bias here, but you could really thrive with some ducks if you've got an overachieving line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Give him the time of day, and Goff does great in the pocket, throws a nice ball. But, I mean, Seattle, they put up points too. It was a lot of scoring.
Well, okay. So
I think the over probably hit by the third quarter.
Really?
Whatever it was, I'm sure the line was hit.
I bet. Well, so this is being called the best play of the year already. That's a cool stick. You got to hand it to him, and way to break it out across the other side of the field. Literally across the field.
I like those jerseys too for the Lions.
Are they going to do a replay of the stick?
Dude, Will, that's exactly what I said, though. Those jerseys are sick.
Look at the sea of people. Wow.
I like the blue helmets too.
Boom.
Bam. Bam. Get your weight up.
Wild. Poof.
Who was that, Montgomery? Yeah. He's done well for them too.
Oh, yeah. Listen, that wasn't just an easy feat. Wow.
But that's Detroit, man. That's their identity. They're physical.
Oh, yeah.
They're physical offensively and defensively.
They
got no quit.
They're going to carry that torch this year.
Quit. They got that psycho as a coach, and he's like, kill him.
Speaking of no quit, this is on the flip side, the Seahawks. But that other play being called the best play of the year, this, to me, is one of the best plays of the year. This is called not going down.
Oh, yeah.
Never goes down. Whoop!
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Both from the same game. Like I said, it was a good game. Offensively, Seattle, they put up points. They were moving the ball.
And good eye by the ref, too.
No elbow, no knee. Yep.
Good eye by the ref, too, not to, call him down.
Too. It's let the play out. At worst, you could be oh, he actually was down. It's let the play go on.
Yeah.
Don't cut it short.
That was good.
That was awesome. I love the flip on the head.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of football to talk about, and we always kind of keep it tight on time. So let's keep it clean.
Yeah.
The theme being Baker. One, they fell short with the victory, but even with the score, giving them the loss, I still don't think that team lost. No. In terms of they are
Seattle game.
Exactly.
Seattle played well.
Bingo. And so you've got the Buccaneers looking sharp. Mike Evans racking up points on my bench. Baker, again.
Mike Evans, on that point, he's going to have like the quietest Hall of Fame career as a receiver. Like every year he's gotten over 1,000 yards. He has a Super Bowl. Tom got him a Super Bowl. It's like very quiet Hall of Fame career. Kind of like Larry Fitzgerald, very reminiscent.
Right, yeah. Right. I appreciate that point because there's also wide receivers that think they'll be able to steal their spot in the Hall of Fame simply by being the loud character. Like, Ojo Cinco doesn't have the career Mike Evans has. No. But he's dancing in the end zone with a sombrero on, and he's the one that has significantly higher jersey sales. So there's this like media argument that you're seeing become more and more prevalent, and it's like, no. Don't get distracted. Ball. That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
ball.
Mike knows ball.
Mike knows ball.
But no, it's Baker's doing well. They're competitive. Like they've only had one dud of a game. I think it was against of all the teams they played, Denver. They look competitive. I mean, especially in that division. Falcons look good. Never had a game remind me so much of like a Browns game from like 3-4 years ago when we had our old D coordinator giving up like 700 yards of offense to the other team, and we might win still.
Right.
Like we still might win. Like it reminded me so much of the Browns 4 years ago.
We're getting to that point quick. But celebrating Baker, the dude, we've talked about this. And as we were playing golf early this morning, you made a comment of like the biggest mistake the Browns ever made. And the way I like further articulated it was getting rid of Baker wasn't the biggest mistake ever. It was a mistake losing Baker, but honestly, it had to happen because there was internal conflicts and his life only got better and it should have benefited us. But the biggest mistake ever was giving hundreds of millions of dollars to a guy that has no drive and has lost the edge. So my only piece is Baker, this was the best thing for him.
Yeah, I do think.
Period.
Yeah.
He was able to keep the noise away. He's building this family. She's not distracted in the media anymore.
No.
And that's the perfect world for them. And it's a tough world to walk into. Big shoes. Tom Brady is not easy shoes to fit, especially when he just walks in, tosses him a Super Bowl and leaves. So now you've got a franchise that hasn't been the biggest, the loudest until Tom. And now it's like, all right, there's a hunger. And if you meet those expectations, you'll be their king. If you fall short, they'll be quicker to call for your head because they want to get back to that Tom Brady flavor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's succeeding in delivering on that.
It's a kind of almost like a dual-edged sword. It's like you could go in with like a lot of pressure having to live up to it, or you could kind of go in and be like, let me make this my own thing and see if we could build off of it. And it's like, it's funny enough, like they had Tom commented back on what Baker said. And it's like Baker after the game was like, no, I just think we have two different ways of going about it. Like, I'm not taking away from Tom did. Nobody can do that.
Well, so let's get into that. I wanted to have those clips ready, but the problem is the commentary is during, licensed press. So we can't really play it on this show. But there was an interview with Baker where Baker said, yeah, there's a huge culture change. Like you could tell when Tom was here, they were here, it was a lot more uptight. He wasn't using that type of language, but was portraying like it was a lot more stringent.
Yeah.
And he's like, now people are a lot more comfortable. There's a different atmosphere. And Tom clapped back hard during the game where he's like,
broadcasting for that game. Like Baker's playing and he's just like, I disagree.
Yeah. It wasn't an atmosphere. No, the atmosphere we were building wasn't an atmosphere to make you comfortable or have fun. It was an atmosphere that was going to deliver Super Bowls and no other goal but Super Bowls.
Yeah.
It's like, well, and that's why you're Tom Brady.
Yeah. You got to think he showed up 1 year and won a Super Bowl for him. It's like, imagine like and that's the thing. It's like, you're not getting just any quarterback. You're getting Tom Brady to come play for your team. And then you go from like Baker, who was like viewed as possible backup, bust, first round pick, journeyman quarterback, to be like, expectations not as high, and it's like Baker exceeded the low expectations that were put on him. With Tom, it's like Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets. It's like you're expecting greatness out of it. And it's like, to Tom's credit, he's like Michael Jordan. He brings it. Like he delivered on that.
Oh yeah. And with all that being said, now you've got Baker was able to grow in a space that, he probably was given the reins a little sooner than, first round draft back. He was going to be a starting quarterback somewhere, but he was kind of thrown into the presidential chair.
Yeah.
You're looking at a kid, be king, rule the roost. And because it was such a disheveled group of misfits, it was the perfect place to grow that muscle. Now he's developed that captain, that leader muscle, and he fits right into this, where he can develop an atmosphere that's more towards his personality, that's catered towards his ability to exercise. That's what it is. He's still growing. The Baker this year is better than the Baker that was on the Rams. And so you're seeing growth, and he's able to cater that to himself, I think, because he was able to develop that leadership role.
25 hit and the frontal lobe finally hit for him.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But I don't want to lose track of, okay, as somebody that's was strongly an outspoken critic of Baker, what his last year or two with us, you could tell there was conflict holding him back, whether it's us, the locker room, the coach, the play calling, the linemen, or a whole lovely mix of it all. But clearly something was holding him back, and we needed to part ways. Now I look at him, and here's what I can appreciate. He works hard. He's a good leader. He's great for that locker room, and he has his locker room's respect. And more so, kind of like, you could be a Tom Brady, but you played football with me. There's people that can achieve the same goal and still have fun while they do it. This doesn't have to be Nazi town where we have to just all line up like military.
Well, too, it's like Tom is the most extreme of those circumstances. Plenty of guys have won 1 or 2 Super Bowls and have gone on to have great. Stafford. Stafford was with Detroit for a decade, goes to the Rams and wins a Super Bowl. Tom is the most extreme of those examples. The only one close to Tom is Mahomes. And it's like, Baker's not Mahomes. Right. We're not going to sit here and make that comparison. But it is he's able to Baker's able to be Baker in Tampa, and they love that about him.
Oh, yeah.
I also think what helps, too, is there's a lot of organizational stability from Tampa Bay. There's been no coach carousel when he showed up there. So the same coach, still with the same guys from last year. They didn't really lose that much over. They're just sort of building the team. There's been a lot of turmoil on this team in the organization for our whole life, but especially in the last 5-6 years. And you got to think his coach at first was Hugh Jackson. I forget about Hugh Jackson sometimes now. It's been that long.
Wow.
It's so much change. So I think there's a culture shift, and Baker was able to grow himself and then grow with that culture shift. I think,
yes,
just him as a person, let alone him as a player. He is improving on the field, but everybody's going to go out there and have a dud on a Sunday. Things like that happen. Ask Tom Brady.
Right.
I remember Cleveland once beat him. We won 2 games all year. They lost 2 games all year. We beat them. You never know what's going to happen, but Baker definitely has an identity down there, and the team follows it.
Right.
The team just follows it. They embrace it. They embrace his leadership and his culture down there.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it. It's its own little special flavor of it. And as we kind of indicated, he's able to still have his fun while getting the work done. Now, an element to that.
Oh, wait, before that point, though, you'll find this cool. Speaking of that culture, Baker played Thursday in Atlanta, and then Friday night, the Morgan Wallen concert was in Tampa, and they brought out, he walked out with Baker and the Hulk Hogan.
Oh, I was like,
the Hulk. Yeah, the big green guy. He was right there with them. Yeah.
That's
awesome.
So
it's in the whole stadium went crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because Hulk Hogan has been politically involved lately. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he was at the RNC.
Yeah,
he was definitely there. He ripped the shirt off.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. I wonder if Miss Mayfield is going to find herself in a Brittany Mahomes sticky wicket.
She's so based for that. That is the most don't care. Like, I haven't been talked enough about recently. Let's switch it up
exactly
a bit. You know?
what it is.
Of all the ways to do it, I just sat back and like, gonna be
Red
awkward
hat.
in the suite with Taylor Swift, ain't it now?
What, our team's red? What can I say? So what's great about Baker is the guy's got a personality, and he brings that personality to the game in his own way. And
I drink a beer with him.
Oh yeah,
I go to get a beer.
And yes, football is great competition, but at the end of the day, it's just for entertainment. That's all we're here for, is fun or entertainment. And Baker seems to be one of the few positive personalities that really's got his finger on that pulse. So I've got a clip here of a piece that just came out it came out on Amazon Prime that narrated with Elon Manning. Elon. Dude, you should listen to this guy talk.
I have. I've heard him.
He looks like or sounds like he drinks water like Mark Zuckerberg. Like, that guy, I think, is an alien. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So, with that being said, there's this funny clip. I'm not able to show you all of it. This is our reactions to Baker. He goes under disguise, and they're convincing like 15 really huge Buccaneers fans that they're doing a documentary on the Buccaneers and their fans. And so they're taking them on this tour. It's literally like a 30-minute episode of him in this costume pretending to be Gus Swayze. He's got a prosthetic nose, long hair, a knee brace, and he's just pretending to be good old Gus Swayze. And, there's some cute moments, like an old lady's like, if I could say anything to Baker, I'd tell him, I hope your daughter's doing well, because he just had a baby girl. And he's like, that's really sweet of you. Like Gus is like, that's real sweet of you. Like, it's just.
Does he put on an accent?
Oh, yeah.
You like fully.
Oh, you'll see it. You'll see it. So it's a fun, and that's what's fun about him. The dude plays characters. What you got, Doug?
Well, I was going to say that kind of reminds me of Johnny Manziel when he went to Vegas, put on a costume. Like, you're talking about it, and it makes me think of that.
Those are so far from the same.
But Baker's in disguise with people. I mean, so was Johnny Manziel. He was in disguise.
Hey, he's not wrong.
Wait. You just compared a guy with probably an addiction hiding in Las Vegas the day before a football game, doing illicit drugs with a cartoon mustache on.
Allegedly.
Oh, no, hardcore. Taking pictures with piles of money in the bathroom and the white solicit drug.
That video of him with that money in his hand. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
And they were like, wait, how's he going to get to the game tomorrow? Oh, I'm flying in the middle of the night. Lovely. Why did I have to be ready? It's not like I was going to go on the field.
You know what? I'm sure Joe Namath used to do that. True talk.
It is funny when you hear like the old traditional like Hall of Famers. Like, man, if we had cell phones back in the day, like those guys.
Len Dawson was smoking a cigarette at the halftime of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's a famous photo.
Yeah, that's a famous photo.
Shit, man. They're really coming off the edge hard.
And they like came down on a coach really hard for hitting a vape on the sideline.
Oh, McDaniels. Yeah. That was like last year. Just like, come on, man. He's stressed. It's literally just, oh, God. All right. 3rd and long. What are we doing here?
So let's take a look here from Prime.
Challenge for you all. We're gonna see how far you guys can throw a football. We've gotten the 30, but we're very close to the 50.
Well, guess what? Gus Swayze gonna take you boys to school. Gus
I like how they put a wig on him.
Gus has got it right here.
Oh yeah.
Gus has got it right here.
Watch the knee. Watch the knee. Yeah, dude.
The knee brace is a good touch.
Right,
Oh yeah.
When I had the chance.
Boom.
Someone's gonna be.
They like tell him this little shtick where it's like, if somebody could throw it over 40 yards, everybody gets a football. And if somebody throws it over 50 yards, which nobody's ever done here, then we're gonna give them the footballs and we're gonna get them autographed. And somebody got the 40 and nobody could get the 50. And then they're all like, well, who else is left? And Gus is like, I'll give it a
Gus
try.
Swayze in the background. why not? Give it the old college try.
I just love this guy hobbles up and then just boom.
Dude,
just
bombs
it
it.
even
Just
looked like they like
bombs it.
padded what he was wearing because he looks like he has like a little bit of a gut.
Oh, wait, just the silence. Just watch the
Bro, I had
silence.
a chance.
That delay.
I like how Baker didn't say anything either. He was just like, let it sit for a
We
second.
have to say
The
very
one
close to
guy.
the 50.
Oops. What the hell was that? So let's bring it to its crescendo.
That's 50!
That's 50! That's 50!
What the hell was that?
Taylor, there's one thing we have to say because unfortunately we had a cheater in the group.
Who was
Uh-oh.
cheating?
Who do you think?
The guy they've been talking to all day. Just Baker.
Everyone who threw. Who cheated?
See that coming.
I got stuff all over me, man.
Holy
Come on.
That's Baker, chat. He's clean shaved. He got a haircut.
These people
That's
are
just fun. That's just like good for the community.
He
There's
does
that
look
old lady.
baby face though, with being all fully shaven. Look at that baby face.
I was watching their merchandise. Did the other players know?
We all had no idea. None of us had any idea that was big.
Come on.
Oh,
After he threw that, I'd have been like, someone cheated. Like, who is this? Like, who is this guy? Are we not going to talk about that more?
Well, what's fun, it's a full episode, so
Yeah.
you could go watch it on YouTube. But what makes it fun is, like, even Baker's like, I signed up to be in character for like 3 hours with these folks. Like, it literally, that's the end. They go through the whole stadium, the locker room. They write letters to Baker and the players, and then they read the letters.
I saw one clip and Baker like picked up a football, like it was like on a rack, right? Like a game ball. And they were like, oh yeah, please don't touch anything. And he's like, oh, okay. And he puts it back. Everyone's like looking at him like, dude, don't get us in trouble.
Yeah. Well, that's like the guy was saying. He's like, yeah, I was watching him mess with the stuff. I didn't want him getting us in trouble. So yeah, look at that. What a look.
That's great, Maker.
that is great.
That's a great look. I mean, coming in your best dressed.
I hope he wears that for game day, walking into the stadium. That would be great.
It would be funny only because like everybody's turned it into such a fashion show.
Yeah.
They're strutting it like a red carpet.
Walks
It's
in
like
as Gus.
yes.
Gus Swayze reporting for duty.
And can we be real? The added layer of brilliance to this is when we were in college, I dressed up as Baker, dressed as John Dorsey. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
how many people in Tampa Bay are going to be dressed as Gus Swayze for Halloween?
You're gonna see
Like,
like
that's awesome.
a third of the population is Gus Swayze. They're gonna look like homeless people walking down Tampa Bay the whole time.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
That's every homeless man's Halloween costume in Tampa Bay this year. I'm Gus.
That's wild.
Every
you're right.
homeless man's costume.
So while we rave over Baker, if you all recall,
Oh yeah, you're wearing black. Why are
yeah,
you wearing
well,
the red?
because it is a sad day. We reminisce Tua, as we recall, he hasn't been. I mean, the Dolphins have been struggling, but we wanted to tap in and see how's he doing. Like, where's he at lately? If we could tap in to
What
see
is
how.
this thing?
351! 351! Rover, sit! Hut! Hut! He seems to have some difficulty letting go of the game.
That is one of my favorite movies, and the fact that you chose that just made me so happy. Ace Ventura is a great movie.
Can't quite leave the game.
We have fun. We have jokes. All right. So, of the review of last week, it was pretty wild to see again, the Buccaneers crushed the Eagles significantly more than we thought they would. Then rolling into this week, talk about a fight with the Falcons. So you got to hand it to them. When we were kicking off the show here, we were just wrapping off the Jets game over there in London. Vikings are kicking their butt, and that really doesn't surprise anybody. But their defense is holding up more than you would think. That being said, let's do a quick review of some of the scores. Looking at last week, I just want to get it full screen for us. So last week, Steelers finally lost their momentum because, holy cow, they've been scaring me. The Saints, I was shocked. The Falcons are shown to be a significantly stronger team than I made them out to be.
They're resilient. They got Cousins, and Kirk wins.
Right?
Like Kirk can win you football games.
That's for sure. The 49ers are steamrolling. They're steamrolling, and there's nothing
Purdy
really.
lost all of his weapons, and he's proven a lot of doubters wrong. He's doing pretty well since.
You know who really showed themselves was the Chargers. I think they held the Chiefs lower than I thought. Or do you think it was that just the Chiefs didn't show up? Because they also seemed deflated.
The Chiefs, I'm going to be honest, they've gotten by on a couple close wins so far this year. I think the Chiefs are going to be just fine. I'm not really sure what's going on with the Chargers. You don't see much of them. I know they got Harbaugh now. Just sort of, he's only been a few games into this year. I think that's going to be a team you're going to see them they're going to improve. I don't think you're going to find far off, but it's the Chiefs. Like, week in, week out, they still find ways to win. They don't find ways to lose football games. They find ways to win them.
Just take note of the Commanders' score against the Cardinals, who stink. But I just want to take note of that as we go into this next upcoming week. So looking at what we got, first we're gonna do a quick review and give our props of what we think is our predictions for this week, but then also end the show with our parlay pick of the week. Last week we got greedy. We technically hit ours, but it got worse. But we'll review it. That being said, starting off with the Panthers and the Bears. These are two stinkers. Like, these are two teams that I'm not even really.
All right, just give your pick. Panthers. That's it.
Panthers. No, you know what? I'm going with the Bears. Ha.
The Bears.
What are you going with, Doug?
Probably the Bears. I
Yeah, me too.
I like their
See?
quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. I think they're holding out. Now, again, referencing the last game, the Commanders really racked up the score. It's against the Cardinals. Cardinals stink right now, but wow, they show up significantly better than I thought they would have. I want it to be the Browns, but I'm close. I'm just not even looking.
I think it's going to be Washington, but I'm gonna pick a Browns win here, just for it.
We want the Browns, but we think Washington.
I'm taking Browns 27, Washington 23.
Wow, so you think it's gonna be a high-scoring game?
I'm hoping for 2 defensive touchdowns because no way in hell is this offense scoring 20 points.
That's the only way it happens, unfortunately. I think this week is the Patriots might breathe life back into the Dolphins because they've really lost their momentum with no quarterback. And if any team could give you an opportunity to get that momentum back, it would be the Patriots. So I'm still looking at the Dolphins because I know they don't have the centerpiece, but they still have everything else to make something happen. But who knows?
I'm going with the coach on this one. I'm going with Miami. I think Miami's got the better coach. I think that's the main difference. I don't think much offensively of both without Tua.
I can appreciate that. Looking at the Colts and the Jags, again, Colts just beat the Steelers. So if we barely beat the Jags, I'm going to go out here and say the Colts are stomping them.
Until Trevor Lawrence cuts his hair, I'm going with the Colts. Until he does that. Joe Flacco, Browns legend, leading the Colts to victory.
And I love watching that. Again, another one.
Beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful
thing in this country.
Bills should beat the Texans, but again,
that's going to be a fun game.
It's going to be a fun game.
For as much of a stinker as Carolina, Chicago is, I think this is a winner game. This is going to be an entertaining game.
Totally.
I'm going to take the Bills. I think Josh Allen is on his first MVP run.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, I think by the end of the year he's going to be MVP.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be good, especially because,
he'll win MVP and lose in the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs again. Time told, as story goes. It is what it is. And then you'll hear Bills fans say they suck for 10 months and you want to strangle every single one of them.
Right. Because it's like when the Browns become deflated and we've lost all hope, we look to the Bills like, you're our number 2. So when they start complaining,
you lost. Why do you keep losing that game?
Yeah. Then we look at them and it's like, stop complaining. We're cheering for you now. I think the Ravens are going to steamroll the Bengals.
I think the Bengals are going to sneak a win. I think they're going to sneak a win.
Really?
Yeah, I think Joe's played better ever since week 1. I think it's going to be that's going to be an AFC North type battle.
You're goofy. You're goofy for that. Yeah, you know what? Here's what I'll say. You could be right.
Yeah,
Because
I mean
the Bengals, if we've seen a couple versions of the Bengals where they can be a team this year.
And Joe's played well ever since week 1. It's like, I think it's going to be that's like a 23-20 game.
Here's what I'll say. The Ravens are the better team.
Yes,
they're the
I
better
agree.
team. And it's theirs to lose, but we've seen them.
This is an AFC North trap game for
Yes.
Baltimore.
Yeah, true.
Like it's your typical, it's the AFC North.
Well, and it's in Cincinnati. So, I mean, that's a whole nother level to it. All right, getting to the 4:00 games. Raiders should crush the Broncos. But again, we've been underplaying the Broncos a lot this season. For the performance we had with the Raiders this past game, like the Raiders beat us, but they shouldn't have. And that being said, I think I'm hoping the Broncos squeak one out with a surprise because we've been underplaying them. They've been showing up, and the Raiders, they're just a ragtag group of guys.
I think the Raiders are just scrappy. And Denver, I still don't know yet. I have faith in Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix and Sean Payton are gonna do all right together. I think they're still going through the rookie woes. I just think the Raiders are scrappy. They're scrappy.
Yeah. Looking at the Cardinals and the 49ers.
49ers.
This one's laughable. Looking at the Giants and the Seahawks.
Another laughable one. I really think Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
I think Seattle.
See, I think Seattle has shown.
We lost
clearly.
New York, but it's like I think New York is what New York is still at the end of the day.
Yes.
And I think Seattle's a much more well-balanced team.
Oh,
Geno
they
Smith
are.
is having a good year.
They are the strong team this year. They are definitely one of them. Like we said, they may have lost the Lions, but the Lions are on track to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you competed with them as if you should have won too.
You didn't have a bad outing against them.
Bingo.
Jared Goff had a perfect game.
So
You still had a great
you're
outing.
looking at a Super Bowl contender against someone that's just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Packers and the Rams. What do you think?
I don't know. It's in LA. 2 good coaches, 2 good quarterbacks. I mean, this is a fun matchup. This is like the second Bills Texans game of the day. I'm gonna take Green Bay.
Green Bay.
I don't feel good about that pick, but I'm taking Green Bay.
Honestly, I'm going to go with the Rams. I could see it being a Packers victory because this is going to be a neck and neck tough fight. Saving some of with the other 4:00 games, this is one of the better ones.
Packers are going to be without 2 wide receivers, though.
Yeah,
That's-
it's like they're down, and the Rams are down on like Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are still out. I mean, like you're essentially. I think Jordan Love will play a slightly better game. That's it. That's really.
I agree. I've been liking this two evening games. So the Cowboys and the Steelers. Here's what I fear.
No, one's tomorrow.
Or yeah,
Sunday night, Monday night.
Yeah. What I fear is that the Steelers are going to wallop the Cowboys. Now, what's in a likely prediction is that this will just be a very good fight. These will be 2 teams that show up, and the Cowboys will compete. But I still think the Steelers can come out ahead. But they're 2 really good teams, and if the Steelers wallop the Cowboys, then they are clearly more of a force than we've been allowing to give them credit.
I agree. I think it is Pittsburgh. I won't say necessarily a force. Pittsburgh just find ways to win games.
Yeah.
I view this as another 10-11 win Pittsburgh team. They'll make the playoffs, probably get bounced right away at that point. And I think like they have such a great run defense. I don't see Dallas being able to run the ball. And I think it's going to mainly come down to how well Dak plays. Fields will do all right.
Right.
I don't think Fields will do anything fancy. He'll do all right.
No, I could agree. Wrapping it up with Monday Night Football, Saints and Chiefs. You've been underplaying the Saints a lot this season, and I think the Saints can come out ahead. The Chiefs aren't the better team. The problem is, again, we're at Arrowhead. So you're looking at an uphill battle. The refs are going to be against you, but you have the ability to pull it out. I want to go Saints, but
You said
it's probably the Chiefs.
You said Chiefs at home, right?
Yeah.
Chiefs. That's it. That's it.
They don't lose.
I agree. I think New Orleans is going to play well against them Chiefs.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I agree.
And not because of the parlay that you just put up. Either. They could score 50 points. I hope you lose, but Chiefs.
Getting to the parlay of the day. First, let's review last week. It was a bit of a disappointment. We beat ourselves. You played yourself. Because when we wrapped up the episode, the pick we had was Deshaun Watson with 1 passing touchdown.
Asking a lot there.
Yeah, setting the bar high. Derrick Henry with 70-plus rushing yards, and Patrick Mahomes with 1 passing touchdown. The problem was we kept tossing and turning. We thought for sure because Tua was out, Dolphins were going to look solid. They were going to just have A-Chain running and skipping all over them. We were expecting high performance out of the rushing game with the Dolphins, and A-Chain shat the bed. I got 6 points on my fantasy. So we got greedy, added a 4th leg to the parlay, even though we ended the show with the 3 green dots you see on the screen. But, they just pushed the envelope a little too far.
Who was A-Chain's pick?
Well, I ended up kind of like lumping it in. Doug was teetering between Deshaun Watson and A-Chain. And when we wrapped the episode, we were like, no, we're just going to do Deshaun Watson. That's more of a guarantee. And then when we were making the pick at literally at the strike of the hour at just before 1, we're like, and that's how you learn lessons. So today we're keeping it strictly to 3, the picks in, and I have to keep it rolling because every week Derrick Henry is hit.
Oh yeah.
Now I got a little spicy, and instead of 70 yards, we're going 80. And Will's got me a little worried here. And the reason I did that was because the 70,
that's the odds. You're playing the odds
were
at that point. Yeah.
They were guaranteeing almost the number was so high. So, it's getting a little riskier, but I think that's an easy achievement for him. He has not missed hitting it the last 3 weeks. So I'm confident in that. Doug, he wanted to go with Brock Purdy. And the problem with 1 Brock Purdy touchdown, it was like minus 900.
Yeah.
It was such a guarantee that it would have killed the whole thing. So after reevaluation, we went to Patrick Mahomes touchdown. And then Will's feeling Xavier Worthy, which might help Doug because they're going to be passing to each other.
Yeah.
Will and I might hit together.
They have Rashid Rice out now. So it's like, for me, it's like, I think you're going to need a new over-the-top receiver to really step up, and fastest man in the NFL at the moment. So let's do it.
All right. Well, let's do it. I hope that helped you with your last-minute tinkering as you get your fantasy teams together and you get excited for 1 o'clock. We're kicking off here soon. So thanks for joining us for the Sunday Football Review. Cheers to everybody that joined us. Ricky, what's up, gang? And we'll see you next week. We go live every Sunday at noon Eastern time. Try to get here a little earlier each week, and you can join us for have a cup of coffee, kick back, have some laughs, and do the Sunday Review where we watch the Rethink Actions. This week we did crazy New York subway videos. You'd be dumbfounded by the crazy shit we saw.
So are we going to end this with the here we go brownies, or is it still a funeral?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not even in Browns gear. I'm here for a funeral. I don't even know what team you're talking about. I'm going to work on my house. Like in 20 minutes, I have floorboards to go rip up. You guys can damper your happiness with your Sunday. I got a parlay to hit.
Hey, you know what? At least the Guardians won.
That's what
they did.
That meme you showed me of the Always Sunny scene where like you look to the side and there's a beautiful lady and it's got the Indians logo on them. And then this huge obese thing sits between them. And he's like, no. It's the Browns. Sit back.
Yeah, honestly, come on, Browns. Just like give us a win. Give us a one good weekend. This one good weekend.
Here's the thing. This is why it's a funeral. Because even if they win today, it's not enhancing my day. Like, I'm not excited. What you're doing, what finally you should have been doing games ago.
And hey, you know what? I'll take the small victories at this point. I took the over the 5.5. I have a 7 wins. Let's take
See, you got to understand, there's a muscle I've developed for like a decade where now
mental illness.
Sure.
Oh.
That's what being a Browns fan is.
Mm.
But through being a Browns fan for so long, you develop a muscle where I can't allow they don't exist to me. They like, oh, I'm just living for the draft. That's the draft.
This is
our
a
Super Bowl.
Browns. This is a Browns talk show, and the first thing you were like, "Let's talk about Baker Mayfield."
We're talking about football. This is a football talk show, and thank God it's not grounded in the Browns at all, because this would be a terrible.
We'd be like the other
season.
50 podcasts in Cleveland. Just it's bad. It's not good.
Right. Right.
I feel really bad about this. Or delusional as hell. Be like Super Bowl, Super Browns.
Right. So you say the little victories are what matter. The truth is, the victory I'm marching towards is our draft pick. So if we won, I can't even get excited because now we're far away from it. I want a quarterback.
Come on,
get
man.
rid of the massagists.
Take your small victories when you can. I woke up, my Taco Bell digested well. Small victory.
Go Browns. So like I said, we go live every Sunday. Join us. Doug and I have another show where we go live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. So you could join us there. But if you're looking for all the different channels and shows for one central place, you can find it at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. So for everybody that joined us, thanks for joining the live show. You adding the added element of engagement is what makes it so much fun. So appreciate you joining us, and we'll catch you next week.